Have you tried every game out there with your friends? Let's say you're hanging out with your friends and you just have nothing to do. You played every video game, every board game you can think of, but there's one you haven't tried out. Something that will improve your creativity and bring you a whole new open mind. Might I suggest Dungeons and Dragons? So what is Dungeons and Dragons? It is a collaborative storytelling game or a role-playing game, RPG, where you get together with your friends, create characters of your own, and go on imaginary adventures in a world of your own design. The entire basis of the game is determined by dice rolls. Depending on what you roll, you might succeed or you might fail. Your characters have different statistics that determine how good they are at certain things. Case in point, your character might be very intelligent, or your character might be very strong, or agile, or very wise, or charismatic. You can play almost anything. You can play, for instance, a dwarf. You can play an elf, even a normal human, but you can also play a half demon or a half dragon or a half orc or a half elf. There's so many different character types you can play as, and you can play as characters with magic or without magic or something in between. Your character could be whatever you want it to be. Your character can be like you, it can be something completely different. The entire thing is governed by just your imagination. And though there are countless rules and systems to determine different things, a lot of that is malleable and can be changed depending on the group. It's a game that enforces the idea of creativity and always wants you to do something incredibly fun. So, what kind of stuff could you get for your group? Well, of course, there's the core 3 books. There's the Player's Handbook, which has all the rules for creating interesting characters. The Dungeon Master's Guide is for DMs. And what is a Dungeon Master? A Dungeon Master is sort of the referee or the narrator of a game. They create the choices and obstacles that the characters can go down, and then they sort of improvise new parts of the story if players go a different route than they were expecting. They can create the entire world and the entire story and essentially act as a guide for the players. They also play as the many monsters the characters will fight. This involves all the rules for creating your own worlds and creating your own adventures and campaigns. And then, finally, the Monster Manual. The Monster Manual has every single monster you could think of. There's all kinds of demons and dragons, and there's giants, there's incredibly disgusting goblins, and all kinds of alien creatures. You can even, the Dungeon Master's Guide also comes with your own ways of creating your own monsters, if there's something in there that you don't really know if you want to use. And then you also have many other optional books that I will not showcase here today, but you can find online on Amazon.com, and many of them are not as pricey as the main core. Then, if you're not able to truly afford any of the D&D manuals, you can also go over to www.5etools.com. That's 5etools.com. That's going to have all of the D&D books verbatim written on their website. It has every single class, race, spell, any feature of a character, or anything from any of the books at your disposal. It doesn't cost a single penny. And then you have, of course, your dice. You gotta have dice. All kinds of stores like Barnes & Noble or your local hobby shop will have a dice for you. So go on over and buy some D&D books and have fun with your friends. The real point of D&D is just to hang out with your friends. It's an excuse. But you can create interesting stories together that defy your incredible imaginations.